Welcome back to the Brotagonist Podcast. I'm your bro host, Carter.
And I'm your bro host, Mason. Thank you for joining us for another week of the Brotagonists. And this is going to be a good day. We are going to start off with a book breakdown of the Red Rising series, which is one of the most popular sci-fi series in the world right now, all over Book Talk, all over everywhere. And if you're remotely interested in sci-fi, this is one to get you into it. And following that, we're going to have a Red Rising IQ test. And after that, we'll have a reader's roundtable, followed by our Watchtower review. Or unfortunately, there is no Red Rising movies or TV series yet, but we are going to be reviewing the movie Interstellar, as is one of the great sci-fi movies of our generation. And then we'll finish with a weapon of wisdom, and Carter will wrap everything up for us. So it's going to be a really fun episode today. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, Carter, what are you reading?
Like I said last week, I was almost done with Dune. I finished Dune, and now I started Dune Messiah. I thought I'd just kind of go through the first 2 or 3. So I'm prepared for Dune's Day in November. But yeah, I'm just kind of getting into it. It's like a time jump after the first book, like a 12-year time jump. So everything's changed, and I'm just kind of wrapping my head around where we're at in Dune, in Arrakis.
I'm very curious as what they're going to do with the Dune movies, because really Dune Messiah does kind of have an ending point, and you'll see what I mean when you finish it. But it's a good book, and I like that it was shorter than the original.
So what are you reading right now?
So I finished Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and I've been watching that movie today, and I just gotta say the book was fantastic. I think I've hit the point where I'm starting to like the books better than the movies, and this was the first book that I was like, wow, they really left quite a few things out and made some changes to make it a better film adaptation. And I gotta say, despite the differences, I do like the books more. If I got the adaptation that Harry Potter gets from books to movies with what they take in and leave out in Wheel of Time, I would be so happy. Like, I think they've honestly done an incredible job of keeping the true story, keeping as much as they can, but then having to eliminate some things and slightly change the story very softly to adapt to a screen. I think they do a great job. I really, really enjoyed the book of Goblet of Fire so much, and I love that there's more Sirius Black in there than there is in the movies. And so that made me happy. And I liked it so much, I went right into Order of the Phoenix.
Is Goblet of Fire the one where Hermione turns Rita Skeeter into a beetle?
Well, Rita Skeeter is an animagus, and she catches her as a beetle.
That's what I meant. Yeah. She catches her in Goblet of Fire, right? That's kind of a funny thing they left out of the movies, but it makes sense because it makes Hermione seem kind of psycho.
Yeah. Another thing they left out that I get why they left it out. It didn't need to be in the movie at all, but as a dentist, I wanted in there to see Hermione's teeth, like when she gets hit with Draco's jinx, that her teeth get super huge.
So, book breakdown. This has been a very heavily anticipated book breakdown, I know, on my part. And I know Red Rising is all over Book Talk, Bookstagram, BookTube, all of it. But we have to talk about Red Rising, probably one of our favorite series of all time, and it is great. So, Red Rising, Mason.
I just want to say, I feel like the reason this one is so big is it's even more anticipated to get a series or movies than like the Brandon Sanderson deal, where people are just begging for this to come into the live action world. And so I'm really looking forward to that one day. And reading this book, I felt like I was reading The Hunger Games again. And the first book is very Hunger Games-esque, and then it diverges greatly in the books after that. So it definitely took me back to kind of those feelings I had as a kid reading The Hunger Games and loved it. I loved the society of the different colors, and that there's actually like very distinct differences in size and genetic makeup of all the different color classes of people in the Red Rising world, where, you know, the reds are much smaller than the golds, but they have, you know, better genetic makeup to do all the mining on Mars and stuff like that. And each one is built for like a specific purpose. That was like really neat.
If you've ever wondered what Hunger Games energy with rage feels like, this might be it. I kind of think it's like a mix between Dune and Hunger Games a little bit. That's the best comparison I can think of.
I've heard Game of Thrones in space, and I'm like, you know, that's pretty on point.
It hooks you right away, doesn't it?
Yes and no. I do feel that you get hooked right away because this is a soft spoiler. There is a big event that takes place within the first 40 pages that hooks you in initially, and then I feel it softens up a little bit until almost exactly halfway when Cassius and Darrow have their confrontation, and then it takes off again.
Do you think the book deserves the hype?
I would say the series absolutely 110% deserves the hype. This book specifically, I don't know if it deserves as much hype as the series gets altogether, but it is still an amazing book. It's definitely entertaining, and it makes you super excited for what's coming next.
Yeah. This world building interesting because it's not overly complicated. First glance, there's a hierarchy of colors, a color system, but each book becomes more and more intricate. It's so easy to understand the structure, and it's so visual. The rules are simple, but the consequences are brutal. I had never read something like this until this book. We saw Jordan, our buddy Jordan, reading it, and he's like, "You have to read this book." And eventually we did.
The initial draw in is it's similar to Hunger Games, where there's like a institute where they go in and it's a competition, and a lot of the scenarios are life or death situations, and your goal is to have your house or your team win by kind of conquering all the other houses. And so that gets you drawn in right away and want to kind of see like, oh, can they win this? But then the overarching bigger story on what's going on outside the institute is what makes you go to the next book, where you're just like, okay, now that he's here, how do we get to the next step?
I love the first person perspective in the writing. It's like, this is happening now. It's intense. It's not like this happened, this happened, this happened. It's like, I see this, I see that, I'm doing this. And sometimes like the main character has come up with a plan that you don't know as the plan's being executed. And you're like, whoa, 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 what is happening? And then you're like, I thought I knew what was happening because I'm following this character's perspective in first person, but he had been planning things behind the scenes that you didn't realize.
Yeah, I feel that if Pierce Brown is good at anything, it's shocking and surprising you, where you think you're safe and then you're just not. And I do like the first person narrative. It was a big change for me because I feel most fantasies, because there's multiple points of view a lot of times, and sci-fi is a third person point of view. But this and Sun Eater is a first person point of view. And where I prefer this over Sun Eater is that it's not like a journal or like a reflection back of, let me tell you my story around the camp. It's happening right now in the moment.
It makes everything feel unpredictable and important. Each moment is important to what's going to happen next. Anybody could die at any moment. Anything could happen. And what I loved about Red Rising is you never know what's going to happen next. It is totally unpredictable.
It really is. And I think that's where it kind of gets compared to Game of Thrones, is you just like don't know when someone's just going to randomly get killed or there's gonna be a huge change of plot. I remember sometimes with these books is you think it's going one direction, complete like 90-degree turn, and then within a chapter it turns again. And I remember reading for like an hour one day. I was like, I just got to put this down. I just need a break.
I've watched a lot of Pierce Brown interviews, and he had said that this is the story he wanted to write, but nobody wanted it. And so he had to make the first book into something that was selling, which was Hunger Games style books, like academy centered or competition centered. And this book is such a good entry point, but then going forward, it totally flips into a space opera and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's just completely new. And every book gets bigger, more brutal.
This book and the series in general, as it kind of creates its own lore as it goes. And what I mean is like Darrow, the main character, becomes the Reaper, which is like such a good call sign nickname. And all these other characters get these call signs too. The Goblin, the Mustang, the Minotaur, the Jackal. And there's all reasons behind these names. And, by the end of the book, the characters all have like this reputation and they're known across the entire solar system for these reputations. And it only grows throughout each book. And for those that don't know, starting in book 4, these take on multiple points of view, but all in first person. Sometimes we get an enemy chapter and seeing how they view the good guys is very interesting. I'm not wanting to reveal too much. This is a spoiler-free review, but seeing like how their lore grows as like they go is super cool, and Pierce did a really good job of
Yeah. Let's talk characters without specifics. So Darrow is the protagonist. Do you say Darrow or Darrow?
Darrow.
That was kind of like a mix.
Yeah, Darrow is how I
Yeah.
say it.
Some people say Darrow. I say Darrow. I like it better. And I think it's accurate. He is a protagonist that is emotional, driven, and imperfect. And he has a score to settle. And he has rage in him. He makes bold decisions under pressure. And something I like about Red Rising, the characters, is a lot of books have characters that I feel nothing for. They're boring, and I just could care less what happens because the characters aren't very deep. And in Red Rising, the supporting characters even have strong identities where you feel some way about each one of them. This isn't a comfort character book. It's like a watch people break book and see their struggles and their growth. And did you root for the main character right away, or did they grow on?
Darrow's an underdog, and I think everyone wants to cheer for a good underdog story. And there wasn't ever a reason initially to not like Darrow. He's a family man who's lost it all and hell-bent on revenge. It's like there's nothing to not like about Darrow, not to cheer for at this point. And so I kind of liked Darrow right away. I don't know if I was like super, I love Darrow, but you like him. I think right away I liked Severo quite a bit.
What the book does at the beginning is you at least feel for Darrow. You at least feel something for him. But Severo is awesome.
Severo was awesome. Well, even Cassius, I loved. Mustang was funny, and I liked Fitchner a lot too. There was just so many good characters initially, and the characters that were designed for you to not like, you didn't like them.
Yeah.
They were the bad guys.
So, is this book more about rebellion or about what power turns people into?
First 3 books, Rebellion. The whole series is what power can turn people into, or how it changes people. It does a good job of showing that when you're in that position, there's no easy choices. And even when you think you're doing what's right and making the right decision, that there's consequences that affect everyone, and half the people are going to hate you for it.
It doesn't preach to you. It throws you into hard decisions and kind of makes you come up with your own, kind of learn your own lessons.
But I think who Darrow is, and this is jumping more past this first book, isn't the Reaper, but is Darrow, like who he is in his moments with the people that he loves, with his friends and with his family. It isn't the Reaper that's in the Institute. It's not the one that kind of sparks the rebellion, you know?
Yeah. So why should people read this book?
First and foremost, it's really entertaining. Second is you're going to have your heartstrings tugged in a lot of different ways. Then it's just really badass. It just is. The series in general is so badass, and you just feel like afterwards you could go bench press twice what you're doing already, and that you can just do anything. And just that you get to join an entire community that just loves these books and loves to talk about them. I have gotten several people to read these, and each and every time it takes them a little bit to get into it, but then I'm hooked, and the entire series is read within a month, and
Yeah.
they're just loving it.
We're like the Red Rising missionaries, man. I'm the same way. I have gotten so many people to read these books, and they all love them. But you're right. Like just getting them past that first book is the hard part, and then they're set. I have personally bought this book for at least maybe 10 people. I think I've spent like $200 on this book, all the paperback copies to give away to people. If you like slow, poetic sci-fi, this is not your thing. This is fast-paced, short chapters, momentum-heavy, emotion-first writing that just stays with you.
It's just so like intense too, but it's intense that it draws you in, where some other series it's like hard. I would say this isn't easy reading. It's more hard reading, intense reading, but it draws you in so much that you stay hooked to it, and you want to engage, where some others you have to really force yourself to pay attention.
Yeah. And just like any book, this book is not for everyone, but it is for most people. This is for fans of high stakes competition, readers who like intensity, people who enjoy morally gray choices, not ideal for cozy readers, low violence preference.
This isn't your hot chocolate on a rainy day book. This is your locking yourself in your room and prepared to not leave for a few hours book.
If this book is for you, it's very for you.
So, do you have any criticisms of the book?
I thought about this actually a lot, and it's actually been hard to come up with anything I don't like because it was such a fresh story, and I liked almost every bit of it. The only thing is, I feel like the first book is almost a little bit of a bait and switch for what you're getting with the rest of the series because it's so different from the rest of the series, like the setting and the dynamic going on, because it evolves. It's truly like this book is the little caterpillar. Golden Sun, the sequel, is like the cocoon, and then Morning Star is the beautiful butterfly. Even though I think that the cocoon form of this book is the best of the 3 books in the trilogy.
I would say Golden Sun was my favorite of this first trilogy as well.
Did you dislike anything about this book?
I wouldn't say dislike anything. I don't think it was a perfectly written book. I think this book the series in general has a lot of similarities to other books like the Inheritance Cycle, all the Aragon books, and some of the Sarah J. Maas books out there, and J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter. You can tell that I think this is Pierce's first published book and first of the series, and it's good, but his writing gets better with every book. This is definitely a good book, but it's definitely weaker writing. It's more simple. I don't know. This is just a preference thing. I feel with how much is going on, it would have done well to have more than just Darrow's point of view. Even if it's just a couple other short chapters.
Okay.
Would have been really cool to have like a single EO chapter or a couple other things. But to just kind of give more thoughts in there than just Darrow, what Darrow's doing. So Carter, did you give this book an official ranking?
Yeah.
I'm guessing yours is much higher than mine.
I have so much to talk about with this book, and it's so hard not to spoil any of it. We will have a full episode, a spoiler episode of this book, because there's so much to talk about. You are right. I do have this book pretty high because of what it means to me.
Something we got to keep in mind is they're only going to go up from here. We can't give it like a 9.6 and just keep going up from there. I have this at an 8.0.
8.0. All right. Goodreads has this book at an 8.5.
I would actually say that's very astute, very accurate. Where does it compare to Bloodsworn, The Shadow of the Gods?
I think it's right around there. I think maybe higher for me.
I'm debating between an 8.5 and an 8.6. I just haven't read this book in a really long time. And I've read Bloodsworn more recently, but I feel they're very close for me. Out of those two, if I had to pick one, it'd be Mistborn. But I feel like your ranking brings it higher because you like this so much more than the other ones.
What's your favorite series of all time? Stormlight?
Stormlight.
Yeah.
You could make an argument, in my opinion, that the Red Rising series is better, but Stormlight just resonates with me more.
Yeah.
And depending on how Pierce ends it and how Brandon ends Stormlight could potentially change.
Okay. Well, you had this book at an 8. I had it at 9.2. You're debating between 8.5 and a
I could do an
8.6.
8.6. I think an 8.6.
Why don't we just 0.6 up for you, 0.6 down for me, 8.6?
8.6.
Yeah. I like it. We're right on par with the good readers out there. So your official protagonist rating for Red Rising, book 1, is an 8.6. The highest book we've rated so far.
Please give it a read. It is so good. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. You'll fall in love. I have not had a single person read this book and not continue on the series.
That brings us to our Red Rising IQ test.
All right. So today I am asking Carter all the questions for the Red Rising IQ test. Topics are all through all the books of the Red Rising series. And for those that don't remember, haven't seen any previous episodes, we're going to start at an IQ of 95. For each question Carter gets right, he's going up 5 points. For each question he gets wrong, he's going down 5 points. And we'll see if he ends up above or below average. And then there is one extra credit question at the very end.
Let's get into it.
It'd be easy. First is, which Olympic knight is Fitchner Chewbacca.
Oh, that's a good one, man. He is the one. They all represent a god, right?
To be honest, I don't even know. It's more like emotions.
Okay. Is Rage Knight a thing?
Yes.
He's the Rage Knight.
Yes, he is. All right, +5. Carter is at 100 points. What house is Darrow assigned to at the Institute?
Darrow is assigned to House Mars.
That is correct. Carter at 105. This is the best you've ever done. All right. Which distant family member does Lysander Alun kill in Dark Age?
He kills his cousin.
Cousin's name.
It's okay. Darrow's Razor Master is Arcos. He kills, what's his first name? He kills his cousin something blank Arcos. It's I know it. He kills his cousin. Oh my gosh, I'm running out of time.
All right, you got to give an answer.
It's his cousin, the Arcos.
I'll give you 2 points for having Arcos. It's Alexander Arcos.
Alexander.
All right, so we are at...
I failed on that.
You had Arcos. I'll give you 2 points for that. So we're at 107. What is the name of Darrow's razor form in Golden Sun?
The Willow Way.
That is correct. Okay, who kills Ragnar in Morning Star?
It's the lady. I always blank. She is... People are going to come for me. They're going to call me not a true fan. I am, I promise.
Yeah, 5 seconds.
Bad Dobby.
The answer is Aja Al Grimace.
Yep.
So you're back down to 107. Okay, who kidnaps Pax in Iron Gold?
That would be Ephraim.
Yep, that is correct. Ephraim T. Horn kidnaps Pax in Iron Gold.
Ephraim T. Horn.
What is the name of Severo's son killed in Dark Age?
No. I can tell you right now I'm going to forget. So I don't know.
Saddest part of the series, Ulysses. All right, back down to 107. What is the name of the flagship to Diomedes Aura?
What is Diomedes' flagship's name? That's a hard question.
I had to get some hard ones in there. You're killing it.
I don't know.
The Storm God.
That's crazy. All right.
What is the call sign of Apollonius Alvalii-Roth?
Minotaur.
That is correct. What howler cloak did they give Ragnar instead of a wolf pelt? This was in Morning Star.
Is it a polar bear or is it just like a regular bear?
I thought it was just like a grizzly bear, but...
I don't know which kind of bear, but I was thinking out loud. A bear cloak.
Are we giving that one to you?
I don't know. You're the judge. Give me like partial credit, maybe.
All right. We'll do a +3, so it's like an even. All right. The extra credit question. Who does Darrow duel in Lightbringer?
He duels Ragnar's father. I forget his name.
I need a name.
He hones his new form, the Breath of Stone. And gosh dang, dude, I'm so bad with names. I don't know. Wait.
Volsung.
Volsumfa.
All right, let me tally these up. You got a score of 110.
Wow.
Pretty dang good. You got most of them right.
That's pretty good. It felt like I got most of them wrong, but
no, you only missed the extra credit, and then you didn't know the name of the flagship to Diomedes.
Yeah.
You didn't know the name of Severo's son that got killed, and you didn't know who killed Ragnar.
You got me with all the names. You got
partial credit on the Alexander question and on the bear pelt question.
You got me with all the names. I should have known.
Well, there you have it. Carter got 110 on his Red Rising Brotagonist IQ test. So it seems that this is a specialized area.
That's right.
And that will bring us to our next topic, which is the Reader's Roundtable.
So in today's Reader's Roundtable, I am going to be asking you what actors and actresses you think should play certain characters in Red Rising, the first book.
Okay.
Who do you think should play Darrow?
The thing is, Darrow is so young, and it's hard to find someone that age that's like also jacked. What's this actor's name? I gotta look him up. Who plays Joe Keery, who plays Steve in Stranger Things. I think if he like worked out and got like super jacked, he could do it.
Wow, that's a hot take. I've never heard that one or seen that one. He's kind of skinny. He's super skinny.
If he got jacked, I think he could pull it off.
Yeah. He'd be a good Darrow when he's red, maybe. Who would you cast as Julian Bologna?
Julian Blanc. I think it's like a blonde, curly-haired, skinny guy. I could do it, and then just gets wrecked by Darrow. You could do like a Timothy Chalamet and dye his hair blonde.
He'd be a good Julian. Yeah. Then who should be Cassius Albolona?
Again, they all start so young, but in the second half of the series, where it's a 10-year jump, Henry Cavill, baby,
Henry Cavill's got to be like getting close to 50 years old.
he's 40. Come on. I think he's 40, like, when they're grown up, and it's not like he looks old, but he's got a muscular build, super handsome, charming, everything.
All right. But what about when they're young in Red Rising?
I don't watch that many shows that have like 16-year-olds in it.
You know who'd be a good Ragnar? And we're not doing Ragnar because he's not in the first book, but Jason Momoa might be a good Ragnar.
I could see it. I need to see a list of some teen actors.
Wait, let's look up fan casting for Red Rising.
I don't know who any of these actors are.
And dude, Lauren L. Arcos, Liam Neeson.
Love that.
That guy.
I could see that.
Antonia, they have Sydney Sweeney. They have Sadie Sink.
Sydney Sweeney as Antonia.
They have Sadie Sink for EO. She's the Stranger Things redhead. Oh no, dude, Timothy Chalamet. They have him on this website. They have him fan cast as Roke.
I could see that as well.
Yeah. And do you know who Jerome Flynn is? They have him playing Fitchner. You know, they actually have Dave Bautista as Ragnar.
Dave Bautista? To be honest, I'm not a huge Dave Bautista fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's a good actor. Dude, Oscar Isaac would be the perfect Ephraim T. Horn.
He would be a good Ephraim T. Horn.
These are pretty good. People do good job on these fan castings. Wow. I thought you'd have some more firepower coming at me.
I thought I would too, but the thing is, I just don't know any, because I'm 30, I don't know any teen actors and actresses.
I don't like Florence Pugh for Mustang, I'm sorry.
No, I'm more of a Sydney Sweeney for Mustang.
I like, what's that girl that plays in Warm Bodies?
I haven't seen that. I've seen that once, and it was so long ago.
Yeah. Okay. Mason, who would you cast for Darrow?
Old Darrow or young Darrow?
Darrow in the first book.
I still don't have a good answer for that because I don't know who this guy is that they have listed here. I still support my answer of Kiri if he could get jacked.
What about that one guy? I just saw Wuthering Heights this weekend.
No idea.
Jacob Elordi. He's like 6'4". I like Jessica Chastain for Harmony.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Who would you cast for the Jackal?
Whatever actor plays Vecna in Stranger Things. He's honestly got the perfect look for it, and he looks young enough for it. So yeah, Jamie Campbell Bower for not Vecna, for the Jackal. That'd be a good one.
And what about his dad, Nero Augustus?
What's that actor's name? Mads Mikkelsen. He would be a really good actor for Augustus.
I agree. He's a good villain, dude. If this ever gets made into a TV show, which I think that's the first choice for Pierce Brown at this point, is to make it a TV show over a movie. But I think that it's going to be the beginning of a lot of actors and actresses' careers. Like, it's going to be almost maybe the first time we've seen them in something. So maybe all these like super movie stars that we're thinking about aren't even realistic.
We got to get Henry Cavill in there somehow.
Yeah, dude. Henry Cavill, depends when they make the series how old he is.
You know who I actually like for Fitchner that I haven't heard ever, but I'd like it, is Sean Bean.
Yeah.
I love Sean Bean.
I saw him fan cast as Dancer, actually.
Interesting. Maybe it's because Dancer is such like a minor character that did never register. I haven't thought about Dancer until like just this moment in years.
I wonder who would make a good, what's the purple's name? What's the Carver's name?
What is his name? Mickey.
I wonder who would make a good Mickey.
I would use the guy from the Hunger Games that does all of Katniss's stuff.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
I don't know that actor's name, but
he's a singer. That's Lenny Kravitz. Anyway, we can talk all we want about fan casting for Red Rising, but let's move on to the Watchtower review.
So today we're going to be reviewing Interstellar for our Watchtower review. I haven't seen this show in a while, but it like blew my mind. And I was taking physics at the time, actually going over the theory of relativity. I feel like I got to a point where I could finally understand it. And now years later, I'm just like, I just don't get it. I can't follow theory of relativity anymore.
The more times you watch the movie, the more you understand.
It is just such wild concepts that if you move fast enough, you could literally go back in time.
Interstellar is one of those movies that swings for the fences and somehow connects. It's sci-fi at a cosmic scale, but at its core, it's deeply human. Like the human relationships and the emotion there, you really hit home.
And I loved seeing Matthew McConaughey in a non rom-com role. He does an excellent job in it. He's a great actor and portrays his character really well. In the movie, they break down the science pretty well so that you can understand it and follow what's going on without feeling stupid.
Yeah, the movie feels huge, intimate at the same time. You get vast emptiness of space, crushing pressure of time, but also like quiet emotional moments that linger.
Seeing like those astronauts go on this mission and they come back and their kids are gonna be older than they are, the same age, and they're gonna miss their entire lives basically to do this mission to save Earth and save everyone on Earth is it's just so crazy to think that, you know, that is how like the space travel works is that you come back and everyone's aged and you haven't. And we're really not like we're still a ways out, but not too far out where that is a possibility in our future that oh, we're gonna do a field trip to Mars and come back and everything's gonna be different, you know. I just couldn't even like fathom that in my head, how much life would change in 80 years of a mission.
Yeah, yeah. It's a sci-fi less about lasers and aliens and more about time, sacrifice, love, and survival. You can stay with the plot, basically, but then the conclusion is kind of where it loses most viewers. And I don't think I understood it fully, what the solution was to the problem until like my third watch through.
There was a few of these movies that came out in relative similar times to each other, like Inception, Tenet, and Interstellar, where they all came out within like 5-ish years, 5 to 7 years of each other. And there's maybe even a couple others in there.
And they
But
make
you
you
have to
think.
watch them multiple times and pay attention to really what's going on to get it. They're not casual watches or background noise, you know?
Yeah, and for anybody that has not seen Interstellar, just because they're intimidated by the length of it. So humanity is struggling. There's a last chance mission among the stars. And that's all you need going in. What makes it compelling isn't what happens, but what it costs.
What was crazy was that really they sent Matthew McConaughey and the other astronauts out on this mission, kind of knowing that it was going to fail, you know, where they did, like, they, at least like the original guy knew that he wasn't going to solve the problem while they were trying to figure this out.
I like the character that Matt Damon plays.
Yeah.
He plays a good antagonist kind of character.
Yeah, that brings into his whole philosophical debate of he's stranded and he just needs someone to be there with him and to come get him and to not be alone as he's been alone for so long. And he sends out the fake signal that he's found a potential solution so that someone comes and finds him.
What makes me so frustrated with him isn't the betrayal in and of itself, but the cost of the betrayal to Matthew McConaughey's character and his family, because like going to that planet that Matt Damon was on literally cost them like, I don't even know how long, 30 years or something like that. They get back to the spaceship and their companion is like aged to become an old person.
Well, imagine being him on that ship where you're just waiting.
Yeah.
Just by yourself. And I don't think they had Netflix going on there.
Something that makes this movie excellent, just like movies like Pirates of the Caribbean, for example, is Hans Zimmer's score in the movie is legendary for a reason. It's heavy with the organs, it's emotional and relentless.
Music makes such a big difference in these movies. That's part of what makes, and I don't know if Hans Zimmer's in all of these, but I know he's in a few of them, but Pirates of the Caribbean, that's him, right?
Pirates of the Caribbean, Inception, there's just so many.
But it makes the movie that Harry Potter's got great music, Lord of the Rings has great music. Like, it makes a huge difference. And to have him on there and deliver how it does just brings that extra level of intensity to the movie.
Something about this movie I don't love, but I think it was necessary, was the pacing. The movie's long and it demands attention, and to have like 3 hours just locked in like that it can be tough. The other thing is it doesn't explain everything immediately. So you're always learning a little bit more. So that helps. But the
Yeah.
pacing is slower.
We're getting Project Hail Mary coming up, which I'm curious as to see how it'll stack up against Interstellar. But we just had Oppenheimer come out a couple of years ago, and I thought Interstellar was much better than Oppenheimer for like a science-y type movie that's advanced science. This one is like more made up and adventure, but then it is based on a true story. But it, I thought it delivered a little bit better. I thought the pacing was better, but a lot of these science movies tend to go really long because Oppenheimer was nearly 3 hours too.
Yeah. And we chose to talk about Interstellar because it is considered one of the best sci-fi movies to have been made. Hans Zimmer's score does nothing to hurt that reputation, and neither does Matthew McConaughey's excellent performance or Anne Hathaway's excellent performance or even Matt Damon's bit of stint in the movie that was excellent.
Well, we got Topher Grace in there too. Eric Foreman from That 70s Show makes an appearance.
They had some great actors, but we chose to talk about this movie because just as Red Rising is a sci-fi that we think is excellent in the book and novel universe, I think Interstellar is an excellent movie in the sci-fi universe, but it's not for the same kinds of fans, Red Rising and Interstellar. This movie is perfect for fans of thoughtful sci-fi, people who enjoy like emotional stakes, viewers who like to rewatch movies and notice new things. Maybe not for anyone who hates ambiguity or viewers who want constant action or people allergic to long run times or like to use their phones when they're watching movies.
Yeah. So we've talked about this on the show before. There's a couple different kinds of sci-fi. The space operas, which is like your Star Wars, Red Risings, which is what I'm really into. And Carter has a bigger love than I do for the more traditional sci-fis where there's like a problem to be solved and there's not a bad guy and stuff like that. But I still, even though that this isn't like my genre or my niche of sci-fi that I'm into, I found the movie very enjoyable. The music was good, the acting was good, and the science was pretty easy to follow for the most part. And if you are wanting to be entertained and intellectually challenged and have 3 hours to kind of dedicate to this and give it a try, I think you would find it time well spent.
What would you rank this movie if you had to rank it out of 10?
7.5.
7.5? Yeah, I'd go 8. Right around there.
I'm a
Yeah,
more harsh critic than Carter. I don't know why that is. Maybe he sees the joy in things more than I do.
well, they say harsher critics have a higher intellect, so maybe you're just that much smarter than I am.
I'm just so smart.
You are a dentist,
Not
almost.
yet. Almost.
So that concludes our Watchtower review and our next segment, which is sponsored by Moe's Seafood and Chowder on the Oregon coast, celebrating 80 years in business this year. 2026. This segment is Weapon of Wisdom, and Mason is going to take us away.
I know we were really heavy on the sci-fi today, hitting some space operas, hitting some traditional sci-fi, but I came across a quote last night in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire from Sirius Black that I really loved, and I was like, I want to share that one. So I didn't go with a sci-fi quote or a Red Rising quote. So we're getting another Harry Potter quote today. And it says, "If you want to know what a man's like, take a look at how he treats his inferiors, not his equals." And I think that can be applied to so many things. Like girls, when you're on a date with a guy, how he treats the waiter and the people serving him and those around him is probably more indicative of his character than how he's going to treat you on that date trying to impress you. When you're looking at a job and you want to know if the boss is good, see if like the staff likes the boss. I know a lot of people that stay working at a crappy job because they enjoy who they work for. And just who you associate with, your friends in general, how they treat everyone around them says a lot about their character. I don't think that there is really a such thing as a person being superior to another person. Like it says, like how it treats inferiors, but you're always sometimes put in positions, for example, teacher, student, or boss, employee, and how they treat those that might be considered below them in that specific area, kind of like serving that person. Well, I think is really indicative of someone's character and who they are. If you want to get to know so who someone is, and I think that's what you gotta look at, and Sirius Black did have a point there. And it also makes me think of if I really wanna consider myself a good man, I gotta, treat those that might be less far along in school than me, or might be my future employees or something like that. Make sure I'm treating them with the respect and the dignity that they deserve, because they're all people too, and that they deserve that respect and to be treated fairly, and that my character is going to show in how I treat them.
You could almost say that we live in kind of a hierarchy of our own, and just like in Red Rising, and it's important to treat everybody with the utmost respect and treat others how you would want to be treated. I like that. That's good. And who said that?
Sirius Black.
Sirius Black. Sirius Black, quotations J.K. Rowling, quotations Mason Peterson. That brings us to the end of episode 7, where we broke down the very popular novel, beginning of a series, first book of a series, Red Rising, which is one of our personal favorites. And we encourage you guys to read that book. We think that our audience would really love that. Next, we did a Brotagonist IQ test, Red Rising edition, where I scored above average, and I think I did pretty well. I am disappointed in myself for forgetting a few of the names there. The Readers Roundtable came next, where we really just nonsensically rambled about who we thought should play who in Red Rising if it ever becomes adapted into a TV show or movie. Then we did a Watchtower review on Interstellar, which is widely considered one of the best sci-fi movies ever made. And you'll have to let us know if you agree with that. Next, we had a weapon of wisdom given us by Mason about how to treat others and what to look for in others. So that brings us to the end of episode 7. Thank you, protagonists, for being here with us, and we've really enjoyed it. We will see you next week.
Smash that subscribe button.